It'll
probably happen when I'm older.
All right, we got free legal advice for our viewers. We've got a bunch of questions, so let's get right to it, shall we? First one from Debbie, question regarding malpractice. 2 weeks ago, I was prescribed a medication that caused a severe reaction. Ended up going to the ER. After 8 hours, they called poison control. I have a morphine pump implanted, which I ended up finding that while on morphine, I shouldn't have taken the new meds. It blocked the morphine and put me in severe withdrawal. The doctor has a complete listing of my meds that we review every visit. Was the doctor negligent prescribing me this new medication?
So this is covered by the Medical Injury Comprehensive Recovery Act. And essentially, it limits you to $250,000 for pain and suffering. It's unlimited for medical expense and lost income. And ultimately, you have 1 year from the date of reasonable suspicion of the malpractice to do something. So pay attention to that. And the reasonable suspicion would have been right when you had that adverse reaction. So in terms of liability, because it's medical malpractice, ultimately you have to get a doctor of the same practice. In other words, if it's an orthopedic surgeon or emergency room doctor, you have one of those doctors review the medical information and determine whether or not an ordinary doctor would have prescribed this medication in contraindication of the morphine.
Okay.
So that's how the process works. So I think getting a medical malpractice attorney is a good idea. If you want to call my office, I can make a referral for you. And you may have a products liability case as well.
Okay, good to know. Okay, here's another question from Nicole. She says, can you tell me how much a collection agency can charge in fees? I had a late HOA payment that started at $225, which I paid, and they cashed, and then they sent me to collections. They now want $1,600 and filed a lien. Isn't this illegal? I've been in contact with the BBB. They've tried to contact the agency but haven't heard back. They filed a complaint against them.
Yeah, so essentially what you're dealing with is a contract. This is a homeowners association. Essentially, the courts are very reluctant to tamper with contracts. The reason that Judge Wapner in my day, now Judge Judy in today's day, makes so much money because most of the time that you have a conflict, it's an oral contract. So one person says this is what's in the contract and the other person says no, it's something else. When you have a written contract, the terms are pretty clear. And there's probably a liquidated damages clause, which means if you don't pay on time, there's going to be fees or fines that are going to attach to the failure to pay. So as long as it's not unconscionable, which means it's so unfair, like paying $300,000 for a Buick, that would be unconscionable.
Right.
Or illegal. You cannot, let's say you buy marijuana illegally, you can't try to enforce that contract because it's illegal. So at the end of the day, as long as it's not unconscionable or illegal, it's probably enforceable. And that's the unfortunate reality of it.
Okay, last question here from Cliff. How can I find out if an attorney has any grievances filed against them and or if they have any negative reviews or lawsuits against them for lack of doing their jobs?
Okay, so it's super easy. Just go type in the California State Bar and it'll say attorney search. You type in the attorney's name and then it'll give you exactly if they've been disciplined and why. Yelp, I don't think is super great. And we have a lot of good reviews, but we have one where we got 1 star, and we can't identify this individual. We've never represented this guy. What he said would never happen because we put everything in writing for our clients and make sure that they're happy at the end of the process. So I can't take that off because Yelp is protected under federal statute to say they are not essentially publishing this. They're just basically a bulletin board. So they're not responsible for the content. So I would say if you're looking for lawyers, a state bar, California State Bar is a good place to go because you know that information is accurate.
And then is it usually free to do a consultation, or how does that work? If you want to meet a lawyer and see if you're
if it's a personal injury case, the consultation is always free. If it's contract or if it's family law, many times there's going to be an upfront fee. But at the end of the day, for what I do for a living, which is personal injury, the initial consultation is always free.
Okay.
Just like this segment.
Exactly.
Yeah, just like this.
Exactly.
I think we're 100% unstumped so far.
So far, so good. All right, Craig, always great to see you. We'll see you again next month. And then you go off to your next...
Yeah, then I go off to Spain and do another Ironman. So 5 in a row.
Wonderful.
Good for you.
Let's knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself. I have to finish this.
Incredible. You got this.